A friend in Jesus is everything to me. He is the fairest of 10,000s to my soul. The leader of the valley, in him alone I see all I need to cleanse and makes me fully whole.
Greetings. It's a great day. God bless all of you. Today we are going to talk about health. You know, you have been seeing me always talking about God, His Word, salvation. But today is designed specially for health. Health-wise. So I'm going to speak mostly in the Twi language and then bring the English language also at certain times into it. Health-wise. And it's very important whether you are a preacher, you are not a preacher, you are a church member, you are not a church member. This is about health. It's so important for us to look at our health. It's true that we are all going to die at certain point in our life. But you see, there are some diseases that are preventable, and we want to look at one of them. And our discussion today will be based on limiting sugar. Yepatre say, enokware say, yenyina yabasa susu de yebewu. Oh, na yare ni bi wo ho a yebetumi aye ho bibi. Na yepatre say, sasa yare no na nka ebekun 60 years a. Ubetumi aye ho bibi a yare na ebekun 80 years. Na saa mre ni mu nso no enya ade a ubenya stroke. Ana say obey your handicap because we ye hu bibi edito ho. What we are trying to say is that it's true that at a certain point in our life we will live this way, but there are some diseases which are preventable, and we want to look at some of these diseases. So I come to you this time not to discuss the Bible, but actually to look at what God has given us for us to remain very healthy. And one of the major things we want to talk about today is about how to limit sugar in our life, in our daily living. Asichire one sem ene eba beka enne. San ebe ya wonfa asichire pi engu wo honam no. So in summary, you see, when you get too much sugar in your body, it is going to lead you to diabetic. And then when you get into diabetic, the complication of heart disease will occur in, stroke will occur in, kidney failure, they will put you on dialysis. And all those things will come in. The patron say, asichire ne dawson dodo, ewo honam mu a. Ebema wankasa na obeyare. Ubenya asichire yare. Na wonya asichire yare a ene de akoma yare ebema. Say de akoma yare ne ma wa, the kidney disease yare a kesa wuntumi ndwonso. Wuntumi ndwonso na say yakwaya wo dialysis sika pi. Inti menua a wutiam no. Asam kese ye ba besua ade kakra bi ewo board no so enti ye ready na ma yensua ade kakra ewo lesson so na megidi se ebeboa wo kakra me ye health professional me ye nurse ni for a very long time enti menim nyama pi kakra menim se ebetumi aboa wo so. Yes, share. We have to share what we have. Inti moma yanko board no so na yesu ya dia kakra. So I wish I board yeswa. Actually limiting sugar. Very, very important. Na edumre bia ye kan sichira na obi dwen say asichira wakoto ewo store. Odi gu aduane mu enu ko ani asichire. Ye ba be kire say ente sa na sɛ na aduane a yɛdi nyinaa no yɛwɔ West Africa especially ɛnyɛ West Africa ewiase nyinaa no aduane a yɛdi nyinaa no sɛ na asikyire nko a ɛwɔ mu enti sa wokɔyɛ aduane na wode asikyire no bi ka ho a na ɛkyɛ sɛ wowɔ ɛsɛ no koraa asikyire no dɔɔso nti moma yɛnkɔ kakra so limiting sugar wohwɛ body so a let's expand the board a little bit so that you can get it very well here. Okay, into limiting sugar no adiache osi mami ndi omo ye sugar na bayire so yam and also sugar. Mami ko di dokron bi kakra. Dokron so no and also sugar. Afi banchi bi kakra bi sa. Mami di banchi bi and also sugar. Banku sugar. What on san kakra bi Fanta bi mami no bi kakra. Let me drink a little bit of Fanta. Mami no bi sugar. What sorry and the power ye tea. Kakra bi wachi kosua kakra bi wo de ahye white bread musa. Brodo na ocho ono sugar. So you see on the board that wherever we go, we can't escape sugar. I just say aduane no nyina no carbohydrates no. Eno na yedi. Ya ye krom ye nya aduane papa bi andi. We mu na yedi na eno so aduane no nyina dey turn into sugar. All the food you see here, whatever you eat, the end result is sugar. The reason is that the way God made our body, the body needs sugar, glucose to work. It gives us energy. So most of the food we are going to eat is going to turn into sugar. So it is between you and I to know how to regulate the sugar and to limit sugar in our diet so that we won't fall a prey into diabetic and then finally cut our life very short. So here on the board you see some numbers. Let's look at some of the numbers. You see 75, you see 73, 85, 78, 41, 68, and you see different numbers written against them. You see white bread is 75. The number you are seeing here is known as glycemic index. The uhu ewo hono yefrano glycemic index. Glycemic index. Na eno ekre se wodi aduane a asikyire dododo a ewo saa aduane num no. Nti wodi saa aduane no a by 2 hours time no saa aduane no ebe pega wasikyire na ewo honam no so no ene atrotro agu ho no. The glycemic index, that is how is your any food has its glycemic index, carbohydrates, and then how it rises your sugar by 2 hours time in your system. So on the board here, let me bring it low. There are some things we are going to look at on this board. We are going to look at glycemic index, which I'm talking about, hemoglobin A1C, insulin resistance, and added sugar. Nyema bi eba besua kakra wa ha no. Bako any glycemic index na me kan wasem no. Nti moma yenko ho na yehwe glycemic index. Yehwe aduane ni bia ya yepe any san asikyire ewo mu no. I know we all grew up with rice. Omo de yawo ye no omo na yawo ye too. Almost every day bia ye di omo. We all eat rice. Okay? But you see, rice has a very high glycemic index. 73. That means the sugar content in rice, especially white rice, is very, very high. Very, very high. It's high. Let's look at white bread. Brodo. Pan on I the Benz. Near the situation I shame for fair bisa. Why would the num tina offer say yes, you are eating something good. But it has a high concentration. It's 75. It's 75. So we let's go up a little bit. Let's look at something. And some of the food we eat are very good. Aduane bi a ye di no so no. Utmu say asitre ne wolo. Let's look at kenke. Anya bad cry 41. Nti wunya wo shito bi saa na wo de nchina bi aka ho na wo de kenke na very healthy food and I would do it because share 41 and reduce sugar not to any high level bia. And so it's a good bet. And you're bad. It's not bad. Not all of our food are very bad. Let's look at and you'll be surprised about yam. Because when I was doing this lesson, I thought yam glycemic index should go very high. But when you boil the yam, let me add cassava at the same time. Cassava is 46 and yam is 44. The reason for the low number for this, our food, is that when you boil them, you take most of the starch out. And therefore, the scientists have seen that after boiling them, the glycemic index of yam comes down. It comes down, and cassava is 46 over here. You see cassava here, it also comes down. So in effect, the glycemic index of these two foods is not that bad when you boil them and then you have something to eat with them. But remember that whatever food it is, the end result is sugar. So sugar is something we cannot get rid of. Asichire eye bibia ewo yaduane ni nyina mu. Ewo yaduane ni nyina mu. Green plantain, brother, and also anya bad 55. Anya bad. You can have some green plantain. Anya bad crap. But let's look at some of the food we eat mostly. If you are in America here and other places, let's look at cornflakes. Cornflakes. What they underpower the cornflakes. Now what they milk kakragu. So now once I share citragu, look at cornflakes. A high glycemic index of 81. And I just said, when it just with the cornflakes now, by 2 hours time, no, sugar no ekosro sa up to 81. So what this is all you can see on the board, that all the food that we eat will end up in sugar. So when you came to this world, most of us, we are not diabetic. But as we keep on growing, we become diabetic. The hepatitis say, ya wo no a se no wo nam ho no. Asichire yare no eni wo ho. But ubon say unyi akowani, why do 35? Why do 30 so ko ho no na wa hya se unyi asichire yare. Nti ene ne ye ba be kire wo mu no. Ye ba be kire wo mu no. You know once I say unyi asichire yare na efi hifa na ba ye. Efi aduane a let's say for example, a typical man in the morning and the part two in the morning, what I did was maybe I made a cup of tea, I put sugar inside, which we will talk about that, and then you added sugar. This is the added sugar. We will talk about added sugar. But maybe a citrate agum, okay, and then that is sugar. I made the tea, I put sugar in, that is sugar. And then I put it in I use bread, that is also sugar. So early in the morning, my breakfast is made up of a lot of sugar. Okay? And then in the afternoon, I cook some rice. I want to eat rice. Until anapa no me ye tea. Me chi kosuya, me de brodo eka ho. Anywhere me di ye no. Asichire pa na me di agu me ho na mu. Na eno anka ho. Awia nso no akome demi. Oh, ma me nua omo kakra. Me fa anka ho. Nti woni omo no, wani omo wa ye stew aja ka ho. Wadi. Eno so asichire. Anumre, let me get some kenke. Okay, kenke do not have mine, but at least it has some small amount of sugar. Enti Anderson a citrate. So this process continues in your 20s, in your 10s. You started piling up the sugar. You started piling up the sugar. So by the time you are hitting your 35 to the 40 there, the system, as I will show you, the pancreas that produce insulin and all those things, you know, the system start getting tired. O system na fi obre, o system na control sugar. Wo system wo lo do na sichire do wo mofra mu uguso e di sichire no. Nti obre. Nti ebre sa no a na afi na trouble na eba be hyase. Nti di eba be kire wo no say, obey then and we slow down. Sa system yi send ebe ya o system no betumi a maintain o sa because one person winni na who grandchildren but one person winni so a na che say yare ediwachi enti a lesson nya botre na yensu ya miye na yenti ase na entumi amu a ye nyina so aha no yahu aduane ne sugar ne de edema mama yanka we mo ho asem kakra on the list na media ba ohano you see hemoglobin A1C glycemic index na maka ho asem no it raises the food that raises your sugar. We will talk about insulin resistance, we will talk about added sugar, and then we will talk about the hemoglobin A1C, and then we will talk about pre-diabetic and diabetic and what you need to do about that. And I hope you enjoy this lesson. When you say you enjoy this lesson, but you see, it's very important. We have to share this knowledge to our brothers, our sisters. It doesn't matter who you are or what profession you have. The system is the system. We all maintain the same human body. And what happened to brother B will happen to brother A also. So let's go along and then let's look at our next page. Let me go take you to the next page. This is our first page. We want to talk about hemoglobin A1C, and then we want to talk about insulin resistance and then the process. Let's go to the next page. Okay. So we are still on why we should limit sugar. Why we should limit sugar. Identicra na say you try a situation. Why we should limit sugar? Why? One. Why we should limit sugar? Weight gain. Weight gain. Sugar. A situation bet me am why kesiye. Sugar will let you gain weight. And when you gain weight, the cells do not function very well with insulin, which we will talk about. So when you put on two ma we kesiye dodoa. Now, what says no? Any insulin, insulin is a hormone. The baby a nyakopon di ato honam no ma, ono na regulate sugar no. Ono na ohwe sugar level no so no. Now, what says no any insulin no enka papa because we ye kesiye edodo. Inti if this no, we will talk about weight gain is not good. If you don't limit sugar, you end up to diabetic. And when you get diabetic, that means your body can no longer control sugar. Look at all the food we listed. Look at all the food we listed here. When your body cannot control sugar, that means when you are eating bread, rice, garri, potato, macaroni and chicken, cake, injera, you are drinking some coffee, you are taking, it's all trouble for you. Then why are you going to? Won't mean DBBR. Now who you are saying I will buy you, no buy saying. BBR won't mean because one regulatory sugar and then say no, this is what will end you up. True, say ebi mu wo ha omu nya diabetic da. Efisa na Yakobon bo we no. But the percentage is very small. As we grow up, more people becomes diabetic. So if you didn't get your own at 40 years, you might get it at 50. The next one will get it at 55. The next one will get, if you are 60 years, you are still not diabetic. God bless you. God bless you. You have to look at the other healthcare problem, okay? But remember, the higher your years goes, the more likely you are to become diabetic. And therefore, and all our food that we eat, it leads to sugar. So we want to see how we can deal with that. So if you heart disease, you see, too much sugar, it leads to complications that result in heart disease. So we want to look at some of the terms we use. And one of the terms we use is the hemoglobin A1C. We will talk much on this hemoglobin A1C and then why we should regulate our sugar. I say hemoglobin A1C, let's look at it only. Hemoglobin A1C test, also known as hemoglobin A1C or H1AB test, is simply blood test that measure your average blood glucose level over the past 3 months. And it is one of the common use tests to diagnose pre-diabetics and also maintain pre-diabetics and help you and your healthcare team manage diabetes. So hemoglobin A1C is very important. Listen, if you go and see your doctor, you let your physician order hemoglobin A1C test for you. Yapata say, Sanya Kupon Buana Uhu doctor na Monteso hemoglobin A1C. Ehia uso pa Monteso because ebu wa wo mo from yanteso. Nti ebu wa uso announce we are diabetic unim. Monteso. So when your doctor tests you, and then you bring the level on the next page for you to see the level. But when the doctor tells you, the level will tell the physician whether you are diabetic or whether you are not, or you are pre-diabetic, which we are going to look into this lesson. So all this will affect you. So it's very important when you see your hemoglobin A1C, because for 3 months, how your body has been using sugar, it will show in the test. Bosom miensa, sana honam no, asitire na wudi gu honam no, sana honam no use sugar no, ebe show ewo sa test mu. Na ama doctor na who say, wono bibia waduru no, enye se wudi asitire biom because one hwe yi a o kwa akoye diabetic and na say one kasa why diabetic na wuni. So it's very important to do that hemoglobin A1C. Now, insulin resistance. We are going to do insulin resistance. Insulin resistance, let's look at insulin resistance as we put it on the board. Insulin resistance is when cells in your muscles, fat, and liver don't respond well to insulin. Can easily take up glucose from your blood. As a result, your pancreas make more insulin to help glucose enter your cells. As long as your pancreas can make enough insulin to overcome your cell's weak response to insulin, your blood glucose level will stay level. So insulin resistance, And you have a example of insulin resistance. The more you grow big, your cells do not respond to insulin. Well, now insulin no, obroni say a hormone, protein, a hormone. Now hormone no obroni say a hormone no patch say that I don't know onya aboa but otese aboa na yasmano honam no smano unya di aduane pe na honam no asmano na humano asmano no o produce adeno wo pancreas nim and wo liver nim the B2 cells and the alpha A cells no and o produce adeno e wo pancreas nim and then your friend the insulin no e kope na akọ omoja nim no ko yiyi asitire na fi na dia wo mu ne say obroni say insulin resistance I just say ebedu mre bi no because say wo sha say 10 years and na wo di asitire ice cream 20 years wo gu so sa 30 years nti afi no hormone no eye insulin na say this man almost so ebre nti asitire na nka say okoyi no onyi ni pi ho asam na eba abeka. So insulin resistance, if your body start getting insulin resistance, this is an example. Example of insulin resistance. Well, if you are a man, even a woman, you see your belly becoming very big. Well, when you are getting to your 40s, 45, and your belly becoming that big, as in the picture here. Let's look at this gentleman. Also, when you're the cheeseburger be no do no. He's eating some cheeseburger, and that looked very nice. But you see, the belly is becoming very big. This is due to insulin resistance. That means the insulin is not taking up the sugar from the blood and is turning into fat. And in our human bodies, mostly in our belly here, it puts it here, exactly what they have lined up here. And that is a visceral fat. And when you start getting this, it's a sign. It's a sign that you have to go and check up. You see, in Africa, especially in my country, Ghana, it's like a man, when a man has a big belly, and then you dress up like how I'm dressed up, and then you put your tie on your big belly, then they know you have a good life. You are living a good life. Okay? You are living a good life. As a trapper, muna te wo yefu an kese bi sa na fe wa twa tie bi e de atoso na afi wo na we just say enipa bibi won ho as a trapper. Health wise, it's not a good life. Health wise, you need to work it out to see if you can bring the belly down, because it's a sign that you are heading towards diabetic, or your insulin is not working well, therefore you are producing a lot of fat and it's being deposited in your belly. Okay, and that is one sign. And if you are somebody who drinks, that will increase it more. Who drinks alcohol, that will increase more. But here is the case, you have insulin resistance, and when your belly becomes this fat, it is called visceral fat, and the scientist says it's not good. So if you say no, scientists say almost say a visceral fat, almost say a cause you can say bema akoma yare. Enti na ese wo pe kwan bi so na wotumi eye ho asem ni nyina wo lesson mu ye be kire sa lesson. So this is an example of insulin resistance. Let's go very fast and then try to see. I hope you have got what we meant by insulin resistance. Now, pre-diabetics. In pre-diabetics, we will look at. I'll take you to the other thing so that I talk about pre-diabetics. Then I'll come back here. Menemo ever call the next page in the sign about this part. na yɛahwɛ pre-diabetic. So let's look at pre-diabetics. Let's look at pre-diabetics here. So in pre-diabetics, you are between. When you say pre-diabetics, I just say, oh, fin. Say, no, when you're diabetic, now one shot by 5 years time, you know, over diabetic. Now, you may be a say, a bema why diabetic. Now, I need a friend pre-diabetic, no. Now, everybody saying, how did it come by? And we want to show you how it goes about what is called pre-diabetic. Let's look at this diagram. Moment this diagram here. So this is the diagram you have. You see, you have two places where insulin is released. Insulin in a matter say a hormone, or say a hormone, a automatic, and a coupon de ache will liver nim and our pancreas nim. Well, so when you dear be on pet, when you dear be on pet, not a piano, no one will be on the cancer, not a piano residual sugar no up. The residual sugar no up pet, not pancreas no. No one lazy insulin. Or is the insulin if you be a friend the beta cells of the pancreas until or is the insulin you pay now insulin no akọ umojanim pe sichire dabi enti insulin ko umojanim a no akoyi asichire ni nyina mu ma fi no akoyi asichire no nyina mu na odi akọ wo sense nim na amawa hoden. You see, enti wudi aduane sa na ye ema wonya ahoden. Insulin no a ye hormone no. Wonya di aduane pe na asichire na kogu moja nim. Asichire no gu moja nim pe na pancreas no wa leleze insulin. Insulin na ye te say aboa na obeyi sugar na fi wo moja nim because moja nim pe sugar. Wo sense no wo dompe no mu na pe sugar because emu na ema wa hoden. So it is oye ne sa wie pe. So release insulin wie pe na balance sugar no. Na sa di we no na ye patre say so ugusu edi asichire no a ebedu baby no na sa pancreas we no na wa bre is tired. Mama put tired na obre no. Inti safaris no ọkọ umoja nim nasa asichire no oyi way of 6 yẹfa so ọkọ umoja nim nasa oyi 6 ni nyina sese no wa bre inti ontumi nyi 6 ni nyina obeyi about 4 no waja mienu wo ho inti saa mienu no obeja ho no na kese saa mienu na aka umoja nim inti saa mienu no entumi ama wo nya diabetic but at the same time no so no mo asichire aka umojanim into obroni friend say at this point you know we are pre-diabetic we are just say wunya enye diabetic here na ehano this is where most of us are ehano na amanfo pi more than 60% of the population or even to 70% ehano na amanfo pi wo. Inti wo a ubabo homode no ubesan aba normal healthy wise sa wo a wa mo homode no uba akoye diabetic inti ha ena yemu pi ewo inti lesson na ye chiro no ye pa kire say ekwa bi wo ho a ubetumi abo homode no asa aba ha bi ana ubejira ha na so wo ma hada na wo system no say uba ha dey enya kra because uba ha wo life na is short uba ha I think e ba wo panie e ba ya wo insulin no way inti wo ha say e ba ma wo value no later on inti that is how the cells no say na cells no edi na jima inti oyesa na a balance sugar no sa ekwame de wa liver no de time bia no or store sugar ɔno so ɔgye asikyire no bi na ɔde asie adekoroti ɔde sie no yɛfa sɛ wokye kɔm a liver no na leleze sugar no a yɛde asie no nti yɛ next lesson bi yɛbɛtikyi concerning fasting the benefit no wobɛhu saa de wei nyinaa sɛ liver no adekoroti a wotumi kye kɔm 3 days a wontwa ahwɛ no kyɛ sɛ asikyire no a liver no ɛde sieeɛ no ɔleleze ɛde agu hunam nti when your low blood sugar no eduru ha pɛ na pancreas na ascent na akɔ liver nim liver no na aleleze sugar na ɔde agu hunam system na Nyankopɔn for me concerning sugar no ɛno no that is the system God created concerning how sugar is regulated. But at a certain point in our age, the pancreas and all this, because we keep on eating too much sugar, so the system get tired and sugar start being deposited in our blood, and therefore we move from healthy and we go to diabetic. We move from healthy and we go to pre-diabetic. And from here, you see hemoglobin A1C test. If you are from 6 to 6.5, 68 to 6.5, and we will bring you the right diagram. You are in the pre-diabetic. You go above, you are diabetic. If you are here, happy are you. If you are here on this side, it's not that easy because we started eating sugar every time when we started growing up. Let's go back again and then look at our diagram. So we have talked about pre-diabetics, how it comes about, and then now we've talked about glycemic index. Now let's go to the added sugar. That is also very important because this is what we know, that when they say don't add sugar, you think this is the only sugar, but you realize that that is not the only sugar. All the carbohydrates we eat ends up in sugar. Your partner said, aduane a yɛdi nyinaa no ne nyinaa ɛkɔyɛ asikyire ebi mu asikyire no wɔ soro ɛsen ebi mu enti ade a yɛsua no sa woto bo a wobɛte aseɛ ɛyie na yɛnhwɛ ha added sugar no ɛno de ɛnyɛ the added sugar ɛnyɛ. That means if you want to regulate or limit sugar, your first thing you can do is to stop added sugar. You see the sugar here. You see the sugar here? Yeah, that's when you are making your coffee and then you pour in some sugar. It's added sugar. Okay? And then you went and then you get some Coke. It's an added sugar. Fanta is an added sugar. Okay? Malt is an added sugar. So this one is not difficult to stop. You can drink your coffee raw and put a cream in it. Or you can drink your tea raw and put a cream in it. And you prevent adding more sugar to the already sugar that you have in your system that you don't know. And that is limiting what? Sugar. And that will help you. Because the more you limit sugar, the more the pancreas and then the liver will work effectively and taking the rest of your sugar from your blood and reduce your hemoglobin A1C so that you become healthy. Your partner said, so one first therapy agu hunamu a one pancreas na oleleze insulin no obaleleze insulin no na sitre na aka ewo moja no oba ko yefi ho na wati apo pa. But uguso eteki asichire ice cream, Fanta, Coke, omo anyway na ebane sanwa. We know it's not one day. It's as the year goes, you piling it up until you start reaching the place where you start turning into diabetic. Let us continue from here. Okay, so we talk about diabetic. Now let's look at our diagram here. The road to diabetic 2. This is the road to diabetic 2. Okay, so here you are normal. So hemoglobin A1C test. Your hemoglobin A1C test. So when they test you and you are okay, bless you, God bless you, you are okay. But if you don't take time, you will move up to pre-diabetic. Pre-diabetic is from 7.5, from 6.4. At this point, you are in a critical situation, but you can work it out. Your partner said, "So call doctor ho. Now doctor no, I say hemoglobin A1C no. I 7.5. You should know. You should know because so where this is 10 years, where the 50. Now some alcohol na say we are. You should know where so what na musa na ko utwa wasichiri edi no eso. Now some okona sa 7.5 to 6.4 there. I just we say no, oh baba here diabetic o. Omo partner say no so one control system now by 5 years time. Now oh ha. Now why diabetic? Enti no na yen nyina pi yegu. Well, yen nyina pi na yegu. You pre-diabetic. So who control sugar no? Now control what do you know who din so a ebeboa. You be kan ho asem as the late goes on. Enti this is the diagram. Over above 6.5, you know, you are now a diabetic. A1C test. You are now diabetic now. So the doctor have to give you some medication and try to regulate you and other things. Very, very complicated. But if you are not diabetic and at the same time at this point you are pre-diabetic, you can do something about it. You can do something about it. So this is how it works. So you want to regulate that because once you're able to regulate that, wow, ama wunyi so a wunyi enko yale mu to say when you stroke and when you heart disease and that be, but you still be functioning. Kosi bra obewu. It's a good thing in that way. Say obe yare to ho na fe no, nobody take care of you. It's not good. So you need to have this knowledge. You need to have this knowledge. Whether you are a church member, a preacher, or anybody, it doesn't matter. There's only few people that God in his wisdom will say, okay, brother A, I will make brother A live up to 100 years. It's only one in millions. All of us will follow the same system. Whether you are the best preacher or you are the best religious person, it doesn't matter. God's law applies to everybody on the earth. If you go and do the right thing, you save some time, you live a very happy life in your old age. Let's look at some of the things that we can do to prevent diabetic. So here on the board, I just have this on the board to help you. Diabetic prevention, 5 tips to control diabetics. You change your lifestyle. Will be a big step toward diabetic prevention. It is not too late to start. I copy all this from the Mayo Clinic, site, which is a very good site. On the Mayo Clinic site, it's a very good site. So high blood sugar, you have to control your sugar. You have to start limiting your sugar now, and that is the lesson today. To prevent that you limit your sugar, then the pancreas and everything will also be able to help you. And then limiting your sugar will prevent you from becoming fat. You see, there are some people genetically, they start growing fat even when they eat a little bit. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge to this group of people, but you can do it by limiting sugar and doing some exercise and cutting down your calories. You see, cutting down your calories, I will explain that. This is what the scientists are saying. Let's say this is what A. Let's say A. I used to take this amount of rice and then take this amount of contumely or leaves. Let's say this is leaves and this is rice. And then let's go to B. So B, I'll do it this way. So this is leaves and this is rice. So what the scientists are saying that we can cut down our calories by eating a lot of leaves. Omo Pacha say ahaban, contomele, spinach, salad, cabbage, new way mono, and a boye, ema yenya diabetic. Inti yendi onu pi. Na fe na aduane te so mono a ema diabetic no yendi ne ketwa. Inti wo hwe a eje se nanka medi omu pi. Nanso medi kontomre ketwa bi na mede kan ho. Ena omo pa kire se yes sano. Na this time no yendi kontomre ne kase. Na yemfa omo ketwa bi enkan ho. Ade ne se wontumi escape. You can't escape, but you can work it out by limiting how much you take at a time. Enti almost say yenye we. Now almost say yen reduce weight. That is yen cut your weight in the 7 to 10% down. And you some ketwa, but you can do it. You can do it. God's willing, when I get time, we will do something on fasting, the benefit of fasting, the physical and the spiritual benefit of fasting. But you can do that. You can reduce weight under these circumstances. Almost 7 to 10% of reducing weight and doing physical exercise. Almost part say where demand ebu a we IT person. Then be a what table home. You don't work around and yet so where demand ya demand then be a what fakwa and yet. Esa obo mode na wo nanti kakra ye mama mu ne grandmother no mo kwa afuom no eno na eye because mo nanti kwa afuom no mo asan ba enti sa exercise no eboa wan e ma mo nyi eche ohu na wo obi a wo ton ade wo te store wo nanti ohu enti sa ba ne sa no a ena ede yare diabetic na ma diabetic ne bantem enti ese wo pupu wa pomu kakra wo nanti around we exercise so with me akwa gym kobi because when gym na ema wo traffic we computer and nipa ni oba officer na wo te ho enye we driver wo te car busa from Accra to Tamale na one from Tamale to Accra na one ba we don't do any exercise bia enye say they are one corner yes won koye exercise sedentary life inactivity at the diabetic any adiabama so this is where we are afraid. Now someone will ask obi baby say na kutu ne mango ne we no those fruits like orange mango and all those people they say they are natural sugars. They don't stay long in your blood, they get out. So it's good to eat and eat the fiber of it. Omo patre say fruit I yet to say mango, akutu, and guava and other things no. I don't know. I see trainer was sabi aninum no. Engineer wo moja numu enche. Enti eno no enko so much trouble. They say I see trainer a few of mumu and I feel banchimu and I feel galimu no. Eno na cause trouble. But fruit the eye. But just say would disarm a broso. Enti I hope you have really enjoyed the lesson. It's a little bit long lesson, but I want to just do it one lesson, and then you can always enjoy this lesson and then know why you should limit sugar in your blood.
A friend in Jesus is everything to me. He is the fairest of 10,000s to my soul. The leader of the valley, in him alone I see all I need to cleanse and makes me fully whole.